Joining us right now is the host of the Kudlow Report on CNBC and the Larry Kudlow Show on WMAL Saturdays at 7 p.m. He's Larry Kudlow. Mr. Kudlow, what was your reaction when you saw the leader of the free world giving out that 800 number and talking about what a great product this is?
The word that came to mind was unseemly.
Mm-hmm.
That was the word that came to mind. And I guess there's behind that some desperation because, first of all, you're not getting through the phones is not an easy thing to do, as people have already tested. But, you know, the deal here is going to be very serious, okay? This is, what are we, October 21?
Yeah, we're three weeks into this.
Right. If they don't pick up volume, if they don't get people enrolling by the end of November, that's one important benchmark. And then the next one is going to be the end of December. If they don't get that, then the whole thing may crash around.
Larry, can we just expand on that? Because I don't think people really get this about Obamacare. They talk about how great it is to have, coverage for pre-existing conditions and accepting kids on your parents' health care, all that stuff. My understanding, when I read what actuaries say, is that they need about 30 million new participants in the health insurance business to make that work, to make it cost-effective, to do all of those things.
Over time.
And I heard yesterday that the White House's target is 7 million enrollees. I mean, this is designed to fail.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's their January target, is it not? And I think what some of these
doesn't that seem low? I mean, have they?
Well, it's probably a minimal number. It was probably a lot higher, a month or two ago. What they're on track to do, according to at least some of these high-tech websites, is they're on track to do about 2 million, and even that may be iffy. This is by January. So if they don't get, the sign-ups and the enrollments, and they don't start seeing cash flow coming in, they cannot support the system. That's the key point.
So there might have to be a delay in the individual mandate, which is the thing that they were fighting with the Republicans about.
Exactly. I mean, the low volume here is devastating, and the other thing that's devastating is the bad health. There's an imbalance here where those people who have prior illness, they're the ones who are probably willing to wait 20, 25, 30 minutes to get online or get through a phone call. Younger people in good health who really don't want this thing, they're just going to check it out, but they have no intention of a $6,000 deductibility or a doubling of their premium. Younger people are not going to hang out and wait for these glitches. So the mix of people, not only will the volume of people be too low, but the mix of people will be too low because the older people are going to be the more expensive ones for the insurance, and the younger people are going to be the ones financing them. So they're in a lot of trouble. And you're quite right when you say, ironically, it could be that the whole thing, the individual mandate, has to be delayed a year, which I always thought, this is what blows my mind, I always thought that's where the Republicans should go. Instead of trying to defund everything right off the top, a 1 year delay in the individual mandate could conceivably have passed the Senate.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that one, Larry. But you talk about the need to get the volume up on the system. Now, I'm no computer expert, and I know you probably aren't either, but it seems to me, from what I do know about it, that if it's just a volume problem, if it's just that the pipelines are too small and there's not enough server capacity, that's something that can be fixed in relatively short order. What I'm hearing is that the problems with this whole website are deep and systemic.
Well, I don't know what deep and systemic necessarily means, but it's very hard. Number one, it's very hard to get in and access the thing. Number two, once you get in and access the thing, you have to give up a lot of personal information. In other words, before you even get to the part where you can see the prices and the product and make a decision, you have to show, you're starting with your Social Security number and a lot of other things. Now, this is another glitch that we found because they never did the testing for the firewalls, for the personal safety or the personal secrecy. And the idea of identity theft has always been first and foremost in mind. So it's an obstacle right there. Well, you say to yourself, all I want to do is see what this thing costs and what my options are, and maybe I'll make a decision. Well, you got to give up a lot of personal info to do that, and a lot of people at that point just hang up and disconnect because they don't want to. Some people say this was done deliberately. to keep the press out so you don't see the pricing. Pricing, by the way, is not very good. The president keeps saying it's going to be cheaper. He's wrong. Outside of about 4 or 5 states, the premiums are going to be substantially higher, like between 40 and 150% higher than what people are paying for now. So that's another issue.
Yes. Larry Kudlow is our guest, host of the Kudlow Report on CNBC. And really fast, Larry, on yesterday's show, you had Alan Dershowitz on. Great interview at the end there. Did you get him to reveal himself as a conservative? Did I see that right?
With a smile, and he's a very charming and brilliant man, he acknowledged to me that he is not the raving liberal that some people have made him out to be. That's what he acknowledged. And I said, look, First Amendment free speech right, that's a conservative issue. Let the state legislatures decide abortion. That's a conservative issue. You're always backing Israel. He's been accused of being a neocon for backing Israel. So I said, Alan, you're really not the great liberal that people have made you out to be. And he agreed with a smile. He agreed. So he continues to call himself a lib.
All right. Thank you, Larry Kudlow. Always great to have you. And a great show yesterday.